Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. This is Stephanie. We are live with the Dallas Junior Chamber of Commerce. Today, I have the lovely Andrea Davis with us. She is from Dallas Art Therapy, and I am just so excited to have met her. This is my first time seeing her, actually, in the times of COVID. We've never actually met, so this is us meeting and chatting. And I'm so glad that the rest of y'all can join us as we're having this conversation live. So, welcome. Andrea, to our conversation today. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and it's lovely to meet you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So, we are talking today about art therapy. And so, Andrea, if you would just tell us, I guess, a little bit about yourself and how you came to become involved with the world of art therapy.
Well, I'll try to keep it short. um, I went to school here in Dallas. I'm born in Dallas, Texas. So I went to school at University of Dallas in Irving, and then went for my master's at West Georgia, out in Carrollton, Georgia. And I came back home to Dallas to work, and I taught school for a few years. And I discovered that I really wanted to work as a therapist, but I wasn't really sure what path I wanted to take. And so I discovered a place called the Art Therapy Institute, which was coincidentally right here in Dallas. It's not here anymore, but back then it was. And I went to an art show at the Mental Health Association, and I got to see and meet art therapists and see a display of art. And in particular, there was a handmade doll that I saw, and a letter written next to it from the person who had made the doll. And she was writing to her child self that had experienced abuse. And so at that point, I had my master's degree in humanistic psychology, but I had never seen this kind of work done with the art making. And it really touched me deeply. And I thought this was really powerful, important way to process and heal. And so I decided to become an art therapist. That meant diving back in for 5 more years of school. And so that's kind of how it happened.
Okay, that is awesome. I'm learning some new things about you as we go along too. So I am also a former teacher. I'm from Georgia as well, so that's fun that we have those things in common. As a teacher, I too saw working, especially in the environments where I chose to work with my kiddos that faced huge traumatic events in their daily lives. And I taught English, and I used words to access those thoughts, not necessarily still therapeutically, but from the teacher standpoint, obviously not from the therapist standpoint. But just seeing those aha moments that children and adults can have when you access those events through a different angle, which I think, you obviously recognize that art is one of those keys to unlock so much of our beings. When we talk about trauma, each of us face trauma in different aspects, but folks might not really understand what that connection between trauma or a difficult situation, if we don't use that word trauma, what art can do to help you process and grieve if necessary, or grow. And so that's really lovely that you were able to find that. I love how organically it found you as well, which is, I think, just really lovely. So just real quick for everybody that's watching, you might wonder, what is DJCC doing talking about trauma? And so we are partnering with Dallas Art Therapy and Foundation 45, and we are going to be having a virtual paint party. We have an artist who's going to be joining us, and she has created the most beautiful pieces of artwork for us. And all we have to do is fill in the beautiful colors, and she's going to teach us how. So on September 17th, we're going to have a virtual paint party, and part of the proceeds will come to Andrea at Dallas Art Therapy, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. But we'll also be, giving back to the community through this event. So that's kind of why we're having this conversation about art therapy. But I think it's important beyond that, as it sounds a little cheesy, but as citizens of our community, we need to be aware of the services that are available to us, the services that are available to our neighbors, our friends, our family who will find themselves in need at some point. We are all lucky and blessed to live the lives that we do, but we don't escape without, difficulty and challenge. And so I think it's just lovely that we can share this information in a way that makes it more valuable as more people get to know about it. So if you would, Andrea, will you tell us a little bit about what does Dallas Art Therapy do as an organization? What are you guys involved with in Dallas?
So I started Dallas Art Therapy to help bring art therapy to the Dallas community, because my journey, I've been 15 years in the profession, and there's just not many of us around that are art therapists, and there's not a school in Texas, so that kind of adds to the scarcity. So I want to make it so art therapists that graduate from programs around the country have a place to come to do their internships and to land here and to bring this service to our community. And the reason why it's so powerful is because if you think about it, my friend Julie does speeches around the country, and so I'm stealing this from her. If you close your eyes and I ask you to think of water for a moment, and then you open your eyes and I say, what did you see? Most people will describe a stream or an ocean wave, something visual. They don't describe the block letters or written word, water. They see an image. So if you think about most of your memories, they're housed in your brain in the form of an image. So whenever you need to process through something, how does it need to come back out?
Has to be
Through the image.
Mm-hmm.
So when you spoke earlier about when you were teaching, you probably read a lot of stories and a lot of metaphorical things were happening, and that's how people learn from childhood up. But still, there's not a crossing point into adulthood where we stop doing that. We still work with metaphors and images. And so art therapy is for everyone. It's not just for children, although it's fabulous for children. It's also for adults, because we all carry that child with us. We all need to keep expressing. If we are not associated with our creative side, we can feel less joy in life. So part of our work is to help people reconnect with that creative spirit that they have, and just feel fulfilled and be able to just kind of go to the next level, whatever that looks like, because it can happen in so many forms. It can be traditional art making, or it can be cooking, or it can be participating in a group. I think a picture just came up of mural making we did last weekend at the Communities Foundation of Texas, and we had volunteers who are art teachers from our Richardson School District and Garland School District, and we had also volunteers who had never done a mural before and just jumped right in and learned. And this is just such a fun way. So, and another reason why we exist is because when we need to process through things, we use our whole body and all of our senses. And so instead of only talking, which is fabulous and wonderful, we also include our use of our hands. And so the connection between your hands and your brain is called our haptic connection. Mm-hmm. It's a very powerful process where you can create. And then there's a lot of other things I won't get into now, but there's just so much power in the process. But we want to have that part of Dallas. Dallas is a huge, wonderful city, and we just need to have access to optimal levels of care for our citizens. And so, because a lot of people may not have access to care, we also we do a lot of work to fundraise to provide services free of charge to people in need, and through art therapy scholarships, and then low cost for people that can afford, a little copay.
Sure.
Yeah. So, and then we try to meet the needs of the community as they come through. So right now we're doing a lot of support with people that are being affected by COVID-19 stressors. What that looks like for them, if it's job loss, if it is high anxiety, if it is loss and grief, many different ways this is affecting our community. We want to help in the ways that we can. And so we have an online teen group right now that's doing art making. So it looks like art skills group. So it's a good, safe way to make art together. But in that place, it's a safe space for teens to be able to vent and express. And they have a huge need for social life, and that's something that's really not, it's not able to happen right now in the ways that they need it
We
to.
all miss our friends.
Yeah, we all do. We really do.
Yeah.
Yes. I hope that helps.
Yeah, I think it's lovely that, as you're talking, I can just see the application of what you do in so many communities, from teens to elderly, the homeless population, even folks that are struggling with COVID. I mean, there sadly is so much that people are facing right now: natural disasters, COVID. We're in a bit of turmoil and change in general, and I think particularly right now, it's so important that we have these discussions that we're going to be having. Yes, we get to have this fun paint party, and I'm looking forward to it. It will be fun. There will be wine probably, but at my house, anyways. I don't know what's happening at your paint party that night, but at my house there might be. But we have this fun event, but really it's rooted in such an important thing, and that's dealing with our mental health, our well-being, our wholeness. And these are things that are such important details about us. They are connecting points. We all have this in common. Andrea, I don't know your middle name. I didn't know your first name last week, but I can tell you that you and I have so much in common already, from the fact that we can talk for hours, or the fact that we were teachers, or we just all have these things in common. And at the very core, we have this human condition. And I just love that we're having this conversation about mental health, and I love that we can do it with art. I think it's a lovely combination, also effective. So yeah, before we leave, I would love to just, if you have any parting words or advice that folks might be able to internalize. I don't know if you've got a way to connect art at home, or something that you could just give our listeners a little bonus for how to deal with maybe challenges that they may face.
Absolutely. I love to give little tips and tricks. So if you're like me and you have to be on the computer a lot, or you're on Zoom calls, or things like that, and you're feeling like you're sitting still a lot and paying attention a lot, but you're not getting to really express, it's nice to keep a little journal next to the computer that you can make doodles in. But on another level, you can go on another level and think about getting in touch with your body. And maybe you're feeling a feeling inside, or maybe you're just having a pain in your back. Take a moment to choose, a color of a marker. If you don't have that, just any pen or pencil is fine, and kind of doodle on your notebook what you think that might look like. Does it feel sharp? Would it have pointed edges? Does it feel, round? Just kind of doodle out what that might be. And then while you're doing that, kind of focus in on maybe what that part of you needs. And even could be a massage, or it just could be some kind of a gesture of kindness or care. And then add that with movements that feel natural to you, to that drawing that you're doing, or write words around it, like gifts that you're going to give to that part of yourself that may have a need. And this is something that you can do on your own. An example of a time I did this was when I had a pain in my shoulder, and I kind of drew out what it might look like if I could see it, and then just used my pencil or my marker to kind of make massage movements over that. And it's pretty amazing how just giving that energy and that attention to that part of you will help you kind of release and relax. And so I really wanted to share that. It's kind of a magical thing that you can do for yourself.
Yeah, that is magical. I'm excited to do this. I'm going to challenge some friends to draw some paint, or draw some little scribbles. I think that's so honestly genius, but it really does make sense. The power of our thought connected with, as you said, that translation into output, through our hands is just powerful beyond words. It's magical.
It's pretty amazing what we can do for ourselves if we just put our minds to it. If you
Mm-hmm.
want to take it to the next level, you can get some finger paint and really go in there. But it's something that you might want to do in the session with an art.
Awesome. Yeah, that would be fun. Well, awesome. Well, if you guys want to take it to the next level with us, we're going to be having, you can see our paint party on the 17th. It'll be at 6:30. It's going to be a watercolor event. We'll talk more about that later. It's going to be really easy and lots of fun, and a way to maybe step into the art therapy world if you're new to it. Andrea, thank you so much for your information and your compassion to both start this organization and continue to serve our community. I think it's beautiful what you do, both literally and figuratively. And I'm just so happy to have found you. I'm happy to partner with you in the DJCC, and we'll see more of you as we move closer to our event. But thank you so much for joining us, folks that are watching. Feel free, and I invite you to please go check Andrea out at the Dallas Art Therapy. Her website is dallasarttherapy.org. You can access her information here on this post, as well as our Facebook page. Check out her Facebook page. We just are so excited to have discovered her and hope that you will find her to be of use and value in your own life. And we're excited. I hope you join us. We'll be sharing more information about our paint party. You can join from your home. It will be virtual. So I hope you'll join me. I'll be at my house. You can be at yours. And yeah, so join us September 17th, and we will see you then. Bye, guys.